Ah, ayan na mga kameta. Joining you from the polar universe. Ayan. Ayun. Malapit na mga polar bears dito. Ayan, kakaland lang natin dito sa Greenland. So far naman hindi ganyan ka-green, more like white land. Pero hopefully namin, check natin mamaya, okay? So as you can imagine, medyo wasak tayo sa mga time zone differences. I hope gising pa yung mga kameta natin dyan. Ano oras na ba sa Pilipinas ngayon? Mag 11 PM na yata, no? Anyway, balikan natin to kasi eto na naman. Yung kasi mahirap sa sa difference ng time zones. Hindi kasi yung virality, may mga window yan, may mga oras yan. But at least siguro yung mga kameta natin na based sa Europe at saka sa America, medyo malapit na sa time zones natin. So I think I'm 4 hours to 5 hours different from Europe time zone, around 7 to 8 hours from the Middle East, and 2 hours from New York and Washington DC, and 6 hours from California. Okay. And around 8 to 9 hours from Hawaii, Guam. So 10 hours Pilipinas. Okay, so ito po yung medyo breakdown natin ngayon mga kameta. Kamusta kayo dyan? Kamusta kayo dyan? Woo! Pilipinas. Oops, bakit nawala ito? Wait lang, ay naayos ko itong sa kabila. Wait lang, inaayos ko lang ito mga kameta. Yun ang mahirap pag sa mga time zone difference, biglang mga email sa'yo. Okay, ayusin ko lang ito mga kamets. Oh my goodness. Ayan, ito. Okay. Second lang. Ito, kagabi. Ito talaga iba talaga pag pagkaibigan ka ni Ronald Llamas, kahit anong oras, makulit ka pa rin. So kagabi, ito, tingnan natin mga kameta, ito mga tweets ng isa sa mga leading political analyst in the history of the Philippine Republic. Ito si Ma'am, itong isang kaibigan natin na columnist sa Manila Times. Yan, shout out naman dyan sa Manila Times. Isang strategist, isang author, isang marami siyang in fairness naman, maganda yung mga pinost niya dito sa conflict ngayon sa Middle East. Gusto ko yung mga ganun. In fairness naman, balance naman yung view niya dito. Appreciate ko Ito kasi mga kameta, ito yung issue natin ngayon. So, dahil medyo mag-explode, hindi naman implode pala. Mag-implode na yata yung unit team. Nagpa-panic mode na yata yung mga ibang kasama natin. So kung ano-ano sinasabi dyan. No, obviously, mga kameta, mukhang 3 things are a big, almost irreconcilable problem right now. To be honest, I think Ronald Llamas, yung kanyang idea na itong Tambalaslos episode will get out of control. I think he has been closer to how things are turning out than me. Kasi ako, ang analysis ko is, 2021 pa lang nagsulat na tayo ng House of Duterte versus House of Marcos. So, hindi naman tayo nagyabang, pero siguro practically first person tayo nagsulat ng noon pa lang, before elections pa lang. I was looking at the competition. But, I was always erring on the side of caution na at the end of the day, if the left and progressives are brought together by the sheer power of their ideas, or sheer power of their non-ideas sometimes, what brings the conservatives and right-wing people together is the sheer importance of their interests. No? And in this case, obviously, pag tinignan mo yung Uniteam, yung interest nila completely nag-align nung elections 2022, particularly in favor of the Marcoses, because obviously I think Duterte's wanted to have it their way. But sa sobrang sabog ng strategy ni Tatay, I mean, dito mo maiisip na sobrang mahina talaga sa politics ito si Tatay Digong. Nakachamba lang sila noong 2016. And in fairness naman sa kanya, as a president, he has been very good in what I call as performative governance or populism. But the problem is, kitang-kita natin 2020, 2021 pa lang, nakakalat na hindi na na-engineer yung transition to yung kanyang preferred successor. So that's where naisahan sila ng mga kapsat natin dyan from the north. Tuloy, solid south, naisahan ng solid north. Now, nung elections 2022, they had all the reasons to be together because that essentially boxed out the opposition and made it close to impossible for Lenny to gain the momentum. Kaya sabi ko yung vote ni Lenny, at least the official numbers of 15 million plus, that's pretty respectable considering what they were facing, which is the combined forces of solid South and solid North. Alright? Now, how solid is South and how solid is North? Honestly, if you look at a lot of numbers and data, the Vismin vote for the Dutertes, so-called solid South, I don't think that's a myth. I think that's quite solid. Yung kay BBM naman, in fairness, the Solid North has consistently delivered for them throughout the decades, no? Even at the height of their weakness. So I won't underestimate yung combined force nila. Nevertheless, sabi ko, ang magiging problema naman ng BBM noon is there will be the weaker element in the ruling coalition unless BBM makes some big moves. And immediately nakita natin mga kameta, 48 hours into Marcos Jr.'s president's, well actually, election, nalaman na natin na Marcos Jr. is gonna assert yung kanilang position. Because now they are siya yung presidente. So iba pa rin yung presidente, di ba? So hindi niya binigay yung Department of National Defense kay Sara. At yung mga key cabinet position ay lahat napunta doon sa mga either more traditional na mag-isip or yung mapagkatiwalaan ni BBM. No? So noon pa lang nakita natin mga kameta na the Marcoses are smart. They know their stuff and wag mo yung underestimate si BBM. Nevertheless, of course, nagkaroon ng problema yung administration ng BBM. I think many, including BBM and folks, did not foresee yung implosion na nangyari sa kanyang cabinet, yung sila, yung amo nila Maharlika, kilala niya sino yan, yung dating barangay chairman na biglang naging spokesman, biglang naging executive ng chief of staff, biglang wala na, natanggal sila. Yung purge na nangyari, I think that if you look at the purge, because I'm already looking at writing a book on this na, so if you look at it, I think the purge was somehow inevitable. Because the reality is that before naging presidente si Marcos Jr., there was a stigma in terms of working for Marcos Jr. So I don't think Marcos Jr. could really count on the best of the best and brightest to work for him. So he had to just do with what he had. For certain reasons, largely thanks to Digong, the team that he had worked for him literally and figuratively nung 2022 elections. But I don't think that team was up to the task once the presidency came in. Parating may expression sa politika na you win elections with poetry but you govern with prose. So pagdating sa quote-unquote poetry, I think alam niyo na sino mga tinutukoy natin, yung isa in charge sa communications, yung isa in charge sa speeches niya, yung isa in charge sa kanyang the whole performative, nostalgic, blah 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 ni Marcos. Okay yung team niya for elections. But once actual governance came in and once na realize ni BBM na mahirap maging presidente ng Pilipinas, I think that's where parang para sa akin na inevitable na matatanggal yung mga, let's be nice, questionable people na helpful sa kanya nung elections. And throughout the years, even yung years na kine-question yung mandato ni Lenny, all of those, let's just say, basket of questionable people, let's just put it that way, or not necessarily the best and brightest. So, I think what happened with BBM was two things. On one hand, he had to emphasize na Marcoses now are back in power and they're gonna be the dominant force in the ruling coalition sa unity. Kasi, okay, may unity ka, pero sinong dominant, diba? So I think yun ang in-establish ni Marcos. But the moment na yung America, the moment na yung mga Western countries, the moment na yung mga ibang quote-unquote dilawan ay biglang mabait na kay BBM, kung ikaw ay si BBM, biglang mag-iisip ka, parang, wait lang, kung gusto ko i-rehabilitate yung pangalan ng pamilya ko na 100%, if I wanna make life easier for Sandro and the next generation, bakit ako mag-stick dito sa mga, etong mga, let's just say level B na mga tao na sila na lang kasi, maasahan ko all those years na medyo outsider kami, may stigma. Ngayon wala na yung stigma eh. Si Biden, si Kamala Harris, si Anthony Blinken, si Ursula von der Leyen, si Prime Minister Kishida. I can go on and on. All of these world leaders meeting him, paying attention to the World Economic Forum. Diba? Malapit na rin yata ako mag-circumnavigate ng Earth. Anyway, so yung kanyang Magellan Junior trips, I think made him realize, parang, wait lang, maybe I can actually bring in pretty high-level people. At alam natin na maraming nagtatrabaho sa administration ng BBMI actually associated sa yellow, to be honest. And I think that's the context in which you have to understand na bakit seriously pinag-usapan yung potential appointment ni Mar Rojas, even Kiko Pangilinan, for that matter, no? At least yung idea na Kiko Pangilinan being appointed was not totally crazy, right? So, what I'm saying there is, kung ikaw si BBM, talagang two things were almost inevitable. Almost. Kasi I still believe in contingency in history. I still believe that nothing is perfectly set in stone. But two things were inevitable. One is, BBM is gonna slowly shed etong mga Team B, Team B, na yun lang ma-afford niya makuha dati nung bago siya naging presidente. Because yung mga best and brightest ay biglang naging bukas na kay BBM dahil nga nakita nila lahat ng mga western countries ay tumantuwa kay BBM dahil hindi siya digong. By default, naging favorite siya, diba? And BBM also was very open to being more friendly, open to the international community, especially the West. Now, obviously, alam niyo, may mga conspiracy about that. Okay, huwag na tayo mag-Cayman Islands, mamaya na tayo. Now, so, for me, a sort of internal purge and reconfiguration was almost unavoidable. In fact, I would say that even the shake-up and the reconfiguration sa military, yung defense minister all the way to... Well, defense minister kasi, alam naman namin si Gibo talagang gusto niya noon pa lang, right? So, inevitable din na magkaroon changes sa defense minister, defense secretary, DND secretary. At saka dun sa military naman, clean up. Ang version na binigay sa akin ng mga contacts ko ng pretty high-level people is, wag niyo sisihin si BBM, inaayos lang yung mga kalokohan na ginawa ng yung mga isa na purge. And let's not get too deep into it, alright? Medyo mahabang usapan yun. So, mahirap na pag-usapan on a live vlog. I rather write about it properly with proper attributions and proper quotations and all. But it's a pretty sensitive issue. So, for me, inevitable yun. Almost inevitable yan. And then, for me, almost inevitable din yung fallout with the Dutertes. But, nevertheless, I presume that the speed and velocity will be asymmetrical. Meaning, the openness of BBM to bring in more, let's say, opposition-affiliated, more mainstream, more, okay, let's just use this term, blue chip people in, right? Feeling ko etong velocity nito ay sa aking palagay ay mas mabilis dito sa kabila. Because dito sa kabila, 2028 yung marker, right? Habang dito sa kabila naman, well, BBM has to get the best team he can get as soon as possible. Lalo-lalo na nakita natin sa mga surveys na hindi pala siya Teflon effect, na he's very vulnerable actually to major reversals in his popularity. For someone who won 60% of the votes, right? For someone who won 60% of votes, to have an approval rating of just over 60%, and to have approval ratings of double-digit lower than Pinoy and Digong at this point in their presidency, that's quite troubling. So kung ikaw si BBM, you accelerate the velocity of internal reconfiguration and getting people from even Dilawan, Pinklawan, whatever you want to call them, right? What is still non-pejorative? Blue chip people, let's just call it this way. People na talaga may pinag-aralan, may alam sa buhay, medyo, So I thought that velocity will be faster than the velocity of fallout with Dutertes. But it looks like the velocity of fallout with the Dutertes parang mas mabilis na bigla dun sa kabila. So this is where I think Ronald Llamas, his shall I say it, his excitement was probably more credible than I thought. No? Kasi I was thinking this velocity will be slower than this. Precisely because both BBM and Sara have an interest in not having a total fallout siguro ano lang sila, cool off lang sila siguro, yung mga ganyan. Pero yung total break, gano'n. But I was thinking both of them have a reason not to do that because each side has has an interest. BBM has an interest of making sure he doesn't create a new front, and knowing na conflict avoidance si BBM, na he's more of a study in certitude and moderation, if I can use it in a much more kind of British literary terms. He's a study in certitude and moderation, right? For someone as prudential as BBM, he has no reason to pick direct fight with Duterte. And then if you're Sara, you also do not want to fight, the dominant section of the ruling coalition, because you want things to be more or less stable and steady as you prepare for your run in 2028. And the fact that Sara was considered as a front runner for the 2028 elections, she has every reason to play it slow, play it safe, play it nice, etc. I think what really became the problem here is Digong. Because as soon as BBM became much more open to moderate his policy and distance himself from Digong's legacy, meaning less of all of this crazy bara-bara drug policy, less of all of this crazy bara-bara red tagging, and more importantly, more friendly sa US and less friendly sa China. Boom! Eto, nagwala na si Tatay Digong. And then, I think, what no one anticipated was yung nangyari sa Kongreso. Na ma-demote ito so I think people also underestimated Martin Romualdez, right? People I think also underestimated Martin Romualdez. So the demotion of Arroyo was already another reminder na do not underestimate the dominant faction, which is the Marcos Romualdez in the ruling coalition, in the unity ruling coalition. And after yung demotion ni Arroyo, I think this is where nakita mo Sara was, I won't use the word deracinated, but I think she did not appreciate how the balance of forces has already changed. So what happened there is, nangyari the whole tambalos-los attacks and all of that. And then siguro akala nila ng mga Dutertes, they can just, paper over it and the dust will settle be fine. Except, the fault lines were just about to get worse. At nakita natin na culminate lahat ng ito. So, interesting, issue ng China na dikit dito sa issue ng confidential funds. And then, boom, puya ka siya, tatanggalan ng confidential fund. And a part of me feels, kung ikaw si Digong, yun yung last straw. And we have seen over the past 2 weeks, mga kameta, no? Since natanggalan ng confidential fund, yung pangalawang pangulo ng ating bansa, di ba yun ang tawag natin sa vice-presidente, pangalawang pangulo, or whatever. Eto na, nagwawala na si Digong. Ang problema naman kasi dito is, ang leverage dito is clearly with the Marcos Romualdez faction. So now suddenly, you're hearing this possibility na baka itong ICC po, no? Itong ICC po, ay biglang, welcome na po kayo dito sa Pilipinas po, sir, mga ganyan. Sir. Sorry, replyin ko lang to. Yes, please. Okay, 1 second. Replyin ko itong kaibigan ko. Okay, mga 1 second lang. Okay, ito, nire-reply ko to kasi I'm trying to arrange some stuff with also folks in Stanford here kasi nga paiba-iba yung mga time zones and all. I'm trying to recalculate yung mga time and all. Anyway, balikan natin. So what's happening now is suddenly itong velocity ng internal configuration, meaning bringing more blue chip in, being friendlier to the yellows, some would even say hindi lang pinks, but yung mga reds daw, malapit, medyo mas friendly na sa leadership ng house, mga ganyan. Daw, ito sa kabila rin, nag-accelerate na rin dito. And I think this is because yun nga eh. So now you have a situation whereby, dahil feeling ko, nag-miscalculate yung mga, the semi-has-been powers, ito na nangyari ngayon. So suddenly now, may interest ang iba't ibang grupo na suportahan si BBM. And the BBM administration right now has indicated that they may be open to etong ICC investigation. And as I said, the issue of ICC is important also because katulad ng sinabi na, sorry, jet lag ng konti. Na, the reason the ICC is important is also because kung ikaw yung Western partners ni BBM, syempre, gusto mo naman, diba, na pakita mo na we have positive influence on the Marcos administration to move in the right direction, blah, 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 right? Now, the thing kasi with ICC is that, remember, yung isang option na kinoconsider natin ngayon mga kameta is to file an additional arbitration case against China to build on. Oh, by the way, happy birthday kay Justice Carpio. Kanina nag-greet tayo kay Justice Carpio. Happy birthday kay Justice Carpio. So katulad ng interview natin ni Justice Carpio, di ba pinag-usapan natin, now we can look at another arbitration case whereby we seek for damages per the relevant provisions of UNCLOS and also building on dun sa arbitration award natin in 2016, no? Essentially, we do right now what was supposed to be done had someone like Mar Rojas or Grace Po won back in 2016, not a Digong, a pro-China guy. So, anyway, so parang weird ngayon na kung anti-ICC ka, tapos biglang hingi ka ng tulong sa international. I mean, of course, they're not the same. Duh. Iba yung ICC, iba yung UNCLOS. But the whole idea of the Philippines relying on international rule of law to defend its sovereign rights, and then the Philippines not being open to international institutions when it comes to human rights issues, given that the Philippines was a party to the Rome Statute and was part of the ICC for quite some time. So, medyo malabo yan, di ba? If you want the help of the international community, international law, you cannot pick and choose all the time. I mean, of course you can do that. Sometimes you can try to do it, but parang weird, no? So actually, it also makes sense for the Philippines to say that, no, actually we're a country that is a country of rule of law, or we have problems, and we're open to international institutions helping us. So ICC can help us with human rights, and hopefully UNCLOS, hindi pwede ICJ kasi kailangan ng mutual consent yan. But other international arbitration bodies can help us naman sa West Philippines. So parang yun yung idea, nagigets nyo ba yan? So maraming tao matutuwa dito kung natuloy itong ICC. Matuwa yung mga Western allies. Matuwa rin yung mga tao na nagsa-strategize dito sa next move natin sa West Philippine Sea. And then matuwa rin yung mga progresibo at saka mga tao na may pake sa buhay ng tao. Yung mga ayaw sa bara-barang drug war. Lahat man tayo galit sa mga droga. Lahat naman tayo galit sa... By the way, anong update dun sa Asian Games? Anti-doping case na yan. Okay, mamaya tayo maggilas. But you get what I'm saying? So... there are many constituencies for this whole ICC thing, right? And now, you have no less than Archbishop Villegas, Archbishop Socrates Villegas also saying that investigators from the International Criminal Court should be allowed to enter the Philippines to probe allegations of human rights abuses. So, now you also have the Catholic Church hierarchy coming in and becoming constituency for the ICC, right? So, insofar as this process seeks to ferret out the truth and possibly to hold accountable those who in arrogant abuse of power, this is, I'm quoting Archbishop Villegas, may have caused others, even possibly innocent people, loss of life in violation of guarantees enshrined in the Philippine Constitution as well as in human rights treaties to which the Philippines is a part, was a party, kasi umalis na tayo thanks to Harry Roque. A thorough inquiry by persons without vested interest or prior alliances should be welcome. So obviously that's ICC. Truth has never destroyed a nation. It is falsehood that has been the undoing of many peoples. So very strong words, no? Ayon kay Archbishop Villegas, our sense of nationhood cannot be so fragile that it cannot allow the entry of persons clothed with international authority to make a determination for themselves that our agency of law enforcement prosecution are willing and able to prosecute and try persons responsible for what can only be characterized as truly heinous assaults on human life. So, I think that's his term for mass atrocities. Essentially, ang sinasabi ni Archbishop Villegas is, kung wala naman tayong problema, wala naman tayong nagawang mali, bakit pa tayo mahiya na pa-open tayo sa investigation, right? And the idea is that we should be happy if ever tutulungan tayo ng international community to get to the bottom of the issue, which is, ano ba talaga nangyari? Yung nanlaban, di ba? Remember yung mga sinabi natin, this is the problem I have. Violence and war is almost inevitable in human life. But you cannot just keep on trying to justify violence by saying, kasi nang laban. Kasi ginamit sila bilang human shield ng ganitong terrorist group. Yung mga ganyan style, if you allow that to pass, then anything can be justified. Diba? Then you can go on killing as many people as you can and just keep saying, kasi ginamit silang human shield kasi nang laban But how do we really know if that's really the case? How do we really know na collateral damage lang talaga sila or something more sinister was going on? So kung wala naman talagang maling nangyari, di open natin, buksan natin sa investigators, right? So yun po yung sinasabi ni Archbishop Villegas. So now if you're Marcos Jr., you have the House leadership, you have people within your cabinet, you have people from outside, you have the Catholic Church, a lot of these people saying, Sir, kung may problema ka sa mga Duterte, wag kang mag-alala. May mga mga kaibigan tayo dyan, diba? And as far as international community is concerned, not only are key Western powers, aligning behind BBM because of the China angle, but you also have the international community and a lot of people who are more than eager to see the Philippines moving in the right direction in terms of human rights. Because let's be honest, almost second year na ng BBM, wala pa ring significant improvements sa human rights. No? Well, the EJKs are not as bad as before, but it's not like we're, moving towards really a country of rule of law yet, right? So, Marcos Jr. has to show a good governance reform, and this ICC issue can hit many. It's like a one stone that hits 10 birds, right? And it's a one stone that was put together by 6-7 different constituencies. So this is the interesting thing that is happening. This asymmetrical velocity that is kind of moving much faster than at least I anticipated. We can see na yung mga mistakes ni Digong noong 2021, which led to Marcos coming back instead of another Duterte being in power, that continuing. So mukhang hindi natututo si tatay sa mga kanyang mistakes. Sino ba kasi advisor ni Digong? Kanina kasi siya nakikinig, diba? Ayan. So anyway, so this is the overall alignment, misalignment, interesting things that we're looking at. And hopefully, once we have time to coordinate this with parang RNR, Ronald Llamas, tuloy-tuloy natin ito, mga chismis na ito. On that note, thank you very much mga kameta, at saka yung mga, ayan na, sabi nung isa, both Sara and Tulfo are like Norwegian airline. Oy, wag naman kayo ganyan. Dami yung mga kameta natin na mahilig sa Norwegian Airlines. Ganito na lang, kung ang standard mo sa buhay po ay Ryanair, siguro naman maganda yung Norwegian Airlines. Pero sana next time, mag-Royal Norwegian Airlines. Kayo baka hindi na kayo iwanan ahead of schedule. But anyways, on that note, thank you very much. Pasensya na, kailangan natin lumabas. Ayan na, naglaglagan sinang... Yun yung advisor hindi ko, di ba na-ban na to sa YouTube? Na-ban na yung mga to sa Facebook. Anyway, baka nga, yung mga taga-SMN na yung nag-advise sa kanya. Sir naman, with all the power and popularity you had, this was not inevitable. So, sa tingin ko, mas inevitable yung track A na minention ko, yung internal cleanup and all. Pero yung track B, that's more own goal talaga more accelerated by own goal. So both of them had semi-inevitability to them, but there's a lot of own goal happening dito sa isang track B na pinag-usapan natin. I like this framework. This is a good way of looking at it. Alright, on that note, thank you very much mga kameta. Maraming salamat. Please continue to support yung ating bayan, yung ating minamahal na bayan, kahit ganito yung mga leaders na in fairness naman, we're moving in some right direction. And please continue to support us kahit medyo wala na ano na itsura natin. Alright, on that note, enjoyin ko muna itong sunlight dito. At ihabol natin mga check-in natin and all of that. Thank you very much mga kameta. God bless and talk to you soon.